The Dodgers have reversed course again. The team was criticized for inviting a specific group to Pride Night at Dodger Stadium, then criticized again for uninviting them.
A short time ago, the team announced it was re-inviting them.
Welcome to the Harmony Channel. I'm Jason Whitlock, your host. That was Reclaim the Rainbow. Hopefully I'm saying this right. It was my idea, Bryson's concept. He quarterbacked the entire thing. Shemeka was awesome. And Bryson had this vision of what he wanted Jimmy Levy to do with the hook that was unbelievable. And so I'm kind of asking the question, have we killed Pride Month? It seems far more muted. There's really only one industry, in my view, that is still heavy, hardcore into Pride Month, and it's actually the sports industry. But every place else, Pride Month is less prevalent, less of a force, less of an impact, less of a news factor. And so, Shemeka, I'm going to let ladies go first here. Have we damaged Pride Month?
So, Jason, but before we move on, while we have Bryson here, can Bryson just tell the people that I wrote my own verse, I did my own phrasing, because people said, oh, well, maybe she wrote it, but she didn't do her own phrasing. Somebody had to tell her what to do or how to say it. And while Bryson is here, can he just answer that question?
She wrote it completely herself, no AI like people do now. No help with the phrasing. She did it herself completely.
Thank you so much. So, yes, I do hope that we have done some type of damage. And you're right, Jason, because I saw that it was trending Pride Month over X. And I went and I saw so many sports organizations just saying Happy Pride Month. And I'm thinking, this is where men are supposed to be dominant, or straight men are supposed to be dominant, yet they're giving all of this praise to gay sex, and it's very frustrating. But I did look to see Target hasn't said anything as of yet. Walmart hasn't said anything as of yet. So some of these big corporations that had these huge displays in 2023 when we did this song, they aren't doing that now. And I don't know if it's actually that conservatives or, Christians have pushed back and put a dent in it, or if it's just that we don't have a Democrat in the White House. I'm not sure, but I definitely think it's quieter now than it was then.
Bryson, have we made any progress?
Progress, I would say yes, because I think culturally, I can just tell you that from my own career, I think culturally it's more acceptable to criticize and call out the LGBT. So progress, yes. Have we killed it? No, sir. I mean, you brought up the sports community. We got I forgot the guy name in baseball who's getting attacked currently for not agreeing with Pride Month. We just had the thing with Jaden Ivey, but all the people doing Pride Month nights, they're also trying to promote strip clubs as differently. And I think a lot of organizations I've seen already said Happy Pride Month, Billboard charts, every sports thing. I haven't seen Target yet, but I'm pretty sure that the next few weeks when I go to Target, I'm probably going to see some homosexual stuff going on. So I do think we made progress culturally. And I do think we'll see slightly less of it, but I still get death threats from these people every day. So,
Delano, have we made any progress?
Progress, yes. We're not close to being there, because right after I heard the topic, when Hadley sent it to me, I got on X, and the first 2 or 3 posts that I saw. Now, this to your point, Jason, they were all from sports, affiliated entities. One was from the Baltimore Orioles. One was from MLB. They have one. The Ravens have something up. The governor of Maryland has something. So I think when it comes to, Democrat politicians and, as you said, professional sports leagues, they are still trying to signal that virtue. Now, it's only June 1st. We have no idea what's coming for the rest of the month. Right? It could get worse, could get better. One thing I don't see is President Trump hosting an event with topless, transgender women, quote unquote, posting stuff and talking about how happy they are to be at the White House. And I'm not sure if this was in June, but I don't see, President Trump having, Billy Porter and at the White House, standing next to him and stroking his hair or anything like that. So I think there's been some progress, and people have been brave, and people obviously like Bryson and Shemeka have been brave in pushing back on it. But this fight is far from being won.
Bryson and the rest of you all, but here's why I think what we might be missing is, like, because of our careers and what we do, we're very in tune with social media. But the rest of America is less in tune with social media. And so I look and I see more Christian rap and bolder Christian rap than ever before. And people that doing Christian rap with, like, bigger followings and more outspoken. And so I see more people being willing to speak from a biblical point of view on the homosexual issue than in previous years. And I don't want to let what's happening on social media cloud or create the perspective like, oh man, they're still making progress. Obviously, I find it fascinating, the sports deals, but I'm wondering if am I right or wrong for that, Bryson, in terms Christian rap and just Christian music is more bold than 3 years ago, no?
I'm gonna have to give a note to that one. I just got attacked by 3 Christian rappers for calling out the LGBT, and a Christian influencer with over 800,000 followers who did a whole podcast about how Bryson Gray is a big meanie if you call out the LGBT. Now, granted, most of the Christian rap people, they're all like feminine liberals to begin with, and I'm talking about the men. But what I will say is the bold Christian rap is starting to get more popular and accepted. Because you got to think about it. I was at 230,000 followers on Facebook a year and a half ago. Now I'm at 900,000. So people are starting to appreciate that type of stuff more because they see more crazy stuff. But as far as the Christian rappers themselves or the Christian artists themselves, nah.
It may just, Shemeka, your thoughts on that. Is social media making us think it's more prevalent than it actually really is?
I wouldn't really say it's social media. I do think that there are a lot of weak Christians still out there. I just went to church yesterday because my grandmother was honored, and everything the pastor said was about, first of all, he, of course, had to go into racism and slavery, and America was on stolen ground. And then he went into the DEI and that God includes everybody. Jesus is inclusive, and I was just thinking, this is the church. This is a historically black church, and the black church is cooked because there are just so many Christians who refuse to actually stand on the word of God. We saw Yolanda Adams come out and say, oh, I think that's old thinking that we have to stand against homosexuality. They're actually trying to change the Bible and trying to act as if God's word has changed because we're in 2026. Like somehow he changed his mind. So I do think that there are a lot of people, especially when it comes to Christianity, that just refuse to stand against homosexuality. And I think it's because so many, of course, have friends or people in their family, and they take it as if I don't want to hurt my cousin or I don't want to hurt my uncle, instead of just standing on the word.
Delano, as you guys continue to make your points, I'm starting to think I'm the one living in a bubble. And literally, y'all making me think like, oh, you know what? And the conclusion I'm reaching is like, Jason, yeah, you've changed up all your friends and the people that you talk to on a regular basis. They're not down with this stuff. And so, like, when you talk to TJ Moe and Virgil Walker and Anthony Walker and Shemeka, if that's who you're talking to now as opposed to the world, yeah, it appears like you're making progress. Maybe I'm being a bit naive, and I've created a hardcore Christian bubble that maybe I'm just not seeing straight.
Well, I think multiple things could be true at the same time, right? Obviously, we live in a very, very large country, and different regions may have, different cultures that put emphasis on one thing or the other. So, for instance, Jason, your governor, Bill Lee, in Tennessee, I think back in April, declared that June would be Nuclear Family Month, right? So he's like, we're not doing the Pride Month thing. We're going to celebrate God's design for the family. That wouldn't happen here in Washington, D.C. I checked. The mayor of D.C., Muriel Bowser, just sent out a tweet, celebrating the fact that June is Pride Month. And a few years ago, she said, D.C. is the gayest city, in the world, or certainly in the country. And all, I think last week, I was seeing all, people posting all over X on D.C. Black Pride, right? So they had an event, and they had a line wrapped around close to where, the Nationals play. And it was, mostly black men, but it was a pride event. And there were a lot of people celebrating this and bringing note to this. So different places are going to look different. I will say this, though, and this is, I want to put it in context, because it's possible you can get a particular social phenomenon that gets so deeply ingrained in the culture that it'll be there, but it may not be as celebrated. So I'll give a tangible example. A few years ago, I was traveling, and I passed by Southwest. I was in the airport, and their entire display was just rainbow flags. The whole thing was just rainbow flag, rainbow flag. Now, if I went back this year and it was just two flags, one at each end, would that be a sign of progress? Sure, you could read it that way, but it would also be a sign that LGBT, acceptance has been baked into the culture. So you're probably not going to go many places where you don't see something like that. And just this Friday, actually, Jason, this past week, we were in the city. There's a Detroit pizza spot that me and my family love. I mean, they make good pizza. I'm not gonna front. And when you go into the place, they have a huge pride flag hanging there, and it's one of those things where they affirm. And this wasn't even for June. This is how they operate all year round. So. You go different places and you'll see different things. I think where I'm most vigilant is it in schools? Is it in houses of worship? Now, to Shemeka's point, if I pass by a church and they got an LGBT flag, I understand it's just a matter of time before this is going to be converted to condos or a golf course or something else, because this church is in a state of spiritual decline. But for me, it's really the schools. And that's where I tend to use social media, because when I see schools affirming this type of thing, and particularly if they are quote unquote Christian schools, then that to me is a sign like, yeah, we still got some more progress, because we haven't pulled it out of the culture far enough or fast enough.
Bryson, I know you're a bit of a sports fan. I see you commented on sports stuff. You're really into boxing or whatever. Why do you think that, and I kind of know the answer to this, but why do you think it's so important for the LGBTQ to have a stronghold in the sports industry? It seems like that's hyper-focused. And as Christians, should that be something? Because, people like today, I was talking about the WNBA. Should we walk away from sports if it's going to remain this LGBTQ stronghold, or should we fight to reinstall Christian and biblical values in sports?
I think the reason they're doing it is because they want to infiltrate masculine spaces. So basketball, football, boxing, most sports these are masculine things. You know what I'm saying? So, and I think they have to infiltrate those spaces because they can have, I forgot the NBA player that be painting his nails all the time. If they can make
Jared
that stuff.
McClain, isn't it?
Yeah, Jared McClain. I'm about to diss him in a song now that I know his name. But if they know they can do this and market it and promote it and influence other people to think it's cool or normal or okay, then there's no better marketing plan than that. I don't think we should leave sports because once again, these are masculine things. These are things that men need. I think all men need to go spar and get punched in the face. So, you know what I'm saying? I think all men need to get tackled or go play basketball or get pushed out the way or something. So I think we do, as Christians, we should fight it in these spaces because these are manly spaces. And I think it's up to us men to be the ones to fight against it. And more importantly, up to the men that's in the spaces to fight against it. So stop bowing down and bowing the knee. Take some advice from Jaden Ivey and try to fight against it. Yes, you might lose money and stuff, but if you really pick Christ first, this is the price we have to pay.
Finally, and Bryson, I'm going to start with you, and then I'll get a comment from Shemeka and Delano, and we'll be done. But I'm of the opinion, and I'm coming to you, Bryson, because I want to tap into you being a biblical bully. I think that the pride is never a good thing. I've been saying it for years. There's no form of pride that's good, including black pride. And I'm someone that thinks that, like, we need to kill that as well. Deal with my position of, like, there is no form of good pride. Pride leads to idolatry. And then the back end of the question of, like, should we be trying to end Black History Month? Should we be trying to end just black pride?
So as far as pride not being positive in any sense, just from the Hebrew word, there is some times where it talks about that Hebrew word used for pride is sometimes talked about the power of God in a positive sense. So it can be used positively, but it's not pride in that sense. It's literally just about the power of God when he shows it, and that's positive. As far as should we end Black History Month, I think Black history is just simply a part of American history wherever it fits. So I get the separation because of the history of this country. So I'm not going to say I'm against Black History Month, but I do think it should just be a part of American history. And I think racial idolatry is a problem, and that does stem from pride, obviously.
Shemeka?
Yeah, I hope that we can get rid of Black pride. I'm sick of seeing it. I was just saying, I hate the term Black love. I don't like Black girl magic, Black boy joy, Black excellence. I don't want any of those things. Like, I don't want to have Black love. I just want to have love. I want to cultivate it and learn how to love like God told us what love is. And this idea that everything has to have Black in front of it is so annoying to me. And I think it limits us. And I would love to actually see it destroyed.
Delano, close us out here. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I get your position, Jason. I think pride, generally speaking, I mean, when the Bible says pride comes before a fall, that's why you should be very mindful to not become too prideful. But do I think that there are positive aspects? Sure. Come July 4th, when we celebrate the nation's 250th anniversary, we will see demonstrable, demonstrations of American pride. It's the flag waving, it's the spending time with the family, it's the fireworks and all the stuff, it's the reading of our founding documents. So I don't think pride is always necessarily a bad thing.
Don't lose your thought. Don't lose your thought. But let me ask a clarifying question. Wouldn't we be better off showing gratitude than pride? I'm grateful that I'm born here in America. It's rich with opportunity. I used to be able to just be a Christian without this kind of pushback. Gratitude is far superior to pride, and we should, 4th of July should be about expressing gratitude, not pride.
I would agree with that. I certainly think you can do that, but in this context, they would go hand in hand. So, for instance, most of our grandparents, let me just assume, for the sake of being presumptuous, none of our grandparents lived in mansions, right? So if your grandma and your granddad had a little 2-bedroom house, a little shotgun house, your grandma's gonna keep it clean. She's gonna sweep the front. She's gonna make sure everything's nice and neat. Now, they would be grateful for the small home that they had, modest as it is. And part of how they would express that gratitude is keeping it up. And it's just like, no, you got to have a little bit of, even if they didn't use the word pride, it was, I'm doing this because I'm proud of the things that we've worked for, and we want to show this to the next generation. I think in that context, it can be positive. My problem, and this is to Shemeka's point, is that when Black is used as a modifier today, it is almost always used for something that promotes degeneracy, self-destruction, idolatry in a real sense. Oh, we Black people, we do this the best. We got the most this, we got the most that. So it's to me, if the object of our affection was something positive. If we said we're grateful for the opportunities that we get, that we have been given from God through the people who came before us, and because of those opportunities, right, we're going to build for the people who will come after us, then it would be something different. But that's typically not the way that it's used. So I get the sentiments of saying, you know what, we got to tear this down and build something up better on a much more solid foundation.
Bryson, just because I know you talk a lot, so I'm actually, it would be better off for me to give you the final say on this, and then we'll close out. My last point would be, as it relates, I think gratitude sparks far better behavior than pride. And so when you are grateful for something, your wife, the meal that was prepared, the home that you live in, when you are truly grateful, you will take care of it. And so I see, like, people take a lot of pride in being Christian rather than, if they're actually grateful, that will compel you to do things in service of God. When you're got any kind of pride in your faith or whatever, it's going to cause you to celebrate yourself. I just think gratitude, if we lean harder into gratitude, which is the point of Christianity, in my view, there would be a lot more progress. You get the final thought, and then we're done here.
I think that goes into what he was saying, though. I think gratitude and pride, how we're using it in this sense, this is two different forms of pride. But if you have gratitude for the grace that God gives, then you will work out your salvation with fear and trembling and take pride in your walk as a believer. Just like if you're married and you're grateful to have this wife, you will take pride in your marriage. And what does that look like? That means really following the Bible. That means I'm not going to cheat on my wife. I'm not going to lie on my wife. I'm not going to throw my wife under the bus of different people. Just like he gave to the example of having a small house. You take pride in owning that house, so you're going to treat it well. So I agree with you. I just think we're using pride in two different ways and trying to pin them in one. So I don't think all pride is bad. I think generally, because biblical pride is about sin, pitting your ways above God's ways. It just says that in the book of Proverbs. So it's like claiming to be a Christian, but you're out here being a homosexual, or claiming to be a Christian, but you're out here cheating on your wife, or claiming to be a Christian, but you're out here watching pornography all the time. So I think that's what the Bible says pride is, a sin.
Thank you. I'm grateful for the conversation. That's it, and that's all from us from Harmony. We'll see you tomorrow.
How did we end up so divided? Stop fighting and stand tall. We used to be a nation, one united. Now we're headed for downfall.